Welcome to the Snap UK podcast. The new season is almost here. Woo!
Yeah.
The crowd go mild.
Only
Welcome
four of us.
along. It's our annual preview of the divisions show. AFC all the way around the table, NFC all the way around the table, and then throw in at the end our selections for things such as MVP, Super Bowl contenders and winners, and Coach of the Year. I gather somebody forgot to submit their Coach of the Year and has unfortunately picked Urban Meyer. Jim.
We'll get into Paul.
Yeah. Jim is the only one of us not here, which, again, is proving to be a theme at the moment, trying to unite five men at a table, proving tricky. Otherwise, I have Paul.
Hello.
John.
Hello.
And Gary.
Hello.
So, gentlemen, you were set the task earlier today, and not too far in advance because I forgot, of taking the compass point you were given and exploring the divisions to come up with some little gems to give us as to who's going to finish worst and first in each division, who's going to be qualifying for the playoffs, who definitely isn't, and what we should be looking out for. So, Paul, which division were you given? Which compass point, division were you given?
The South shall rise again.
John?
North.
Gary?
West Side Story.
That's good because I have the East, which means for the first time in several years, we actually have all researched the right things. I believe there has been some times in the past where certain people directly opposite me may have not researched the right divisions.
Yeah, was I given? I thought I was given the West, and
No,
I
you
didn't.
clearly weren't.
Supposed to be the East.
But it's a contentious point we don't need to rediscover for too long. The other contentious point of the evening is some of us are very hungry and therefore may struggle this evening. As
But
we
could have been
promised
finished.
pizza.
We could have been finished half an hour early, but someone was looking up jokes.
That's true.
online.
That's true. Right, Paul, I am starting with you this evening. I'd like you to guide me through the AFC North.
I don't know why I didn't research that one.
Oh, sorry.
South.
So AFC South. So now I'm not the one paying attention. I'd like you to guide me through the AFC South and tell me who's going to win it and who's definitely not going to win it. Fire away.
So, I'm going to give you the four teams. I've come up with a formula just to help me do the research. One of the things I'm not going to mention, because my 8-year-old daughter likes to help me with the research, and you don't need to know that the centre for the Texans, Juice Scruggs, was her pick for the one to watch, because his name is funny.
I mean, that might be the best thing about the Texans this season, Juice Scruggs.
So what I've been doing, right, is I've picked their top new addition, one player to watch, and where I think they'll finish in the division. So I'm going to start with the Texans. I actually think they've done some really smart recruitment over this off-season. And there's two players. I couldn't pick one over the other. Their O-line has been like a trapdoor. Davis Mills was the most sacked man in world history for the last few years. So bringing in Shaq Mason, I thought was a really good pickup. Just a solid O-lineman, exactly what they need. Someone who isn't a left tackle, who's decent, is really good. The other addition they brought in is Robert Woods.
15th best wide receiver in the NFL.
Yep.
And considering the depth in that team, I think he could be fantastic.
He's a massive upgrade over what they've had.
And with Brandon Cooks going, they needed something. So it's decent. You can't overlook what they did in the draft. And I know preseason is sometimes unreliable, but Will Anderson has looked frightening from some of the clips I've seen. So the one to watch for me is Will Anderson. I think they're going to finish third in the division, the Texans.
Okay. I'd say they'd be delighted with finishing third in the division of the Texans.
I think they'd be amazed.
Yeah. And they are drafting well. They are bringing, I think in, to be fair, it's the Texans, they're going to be crap in 5 years' time. But if they carry on the work that they're doing, they have some faith in their head coach, they could do something. So I'll then move across to the Colts. I think they're going to finish bottom of this division comfortably.
Oh, comfortably.
So the one to watch, so the best new addition for me, I'm looking through their roster and their transactions, and it's pretty dire. So the one to watch for me is Minshew, because if Anthony Richardson fails, and there's such a high risk rate with this guy failing, because he's only played 13 games, Minshew is the only established quarterback in that room. So the one to watch for me is Richardson, because there's also this possibility he could be generational.
He could be the new Cam.
Exactly. I mean, I've watched clips of him throw a ball 80 yards off 1 foot while jumping.
He runs through players as well, doesn't he? It's not like he just overpowers. It's insane to watch. Brilliant.
He could have an RG3 first season. It's completely possible. I think he'll shit the bed, personally. I think they are...
Our first bed shitting of the season.
Yay.
No surprise it was you.
So I think they're going to comfortably finish bottom of this division. The next team I'll go to is the Jags. So the best new addition for me, Calvin Ridley. I think Calvin Ridley with a point to prove will be fantastic and exactly what Lawrence needs for this new season.
Agreed.
So the one to watch for me is Evan Ingram, because he had a decent season last season. I think there's no team that's gone deep in the playoffs and done well that hasn't had a decent tight end. So they will need him.
He basically plays as a wide receiver for them, doesn't he?
I know what
Sorry,
I said.
you do. I was doing so well till I looked at Gary.
Yeah, the only thing I would say about Calvin Ridley is we haven't seen him play football for like a year and a half. So
He's had a rest.
Well, he had a rest, but he was obviously off with some personal issues that then turned out to be the gambling, which then he was obviously banned for a year. So, yeah, talent-wise, he looks amazing, but we've seen lots of these mercurial talents that have then gone on to not achieve what they should. So I think it's difficult to say he will definitely be a superstar. He should be, but we don't know, do we?
I think he immediately goes into that wide-out room as number one.
I agree.
Well, I think Kirk might have something to say about that.
Well, Kirk's salary might, but
Well,
He had a good season last year, Kirk. I think to just walk in and go, yeah, I'm now number one. I think Ridley's got a bit to prove. That's it for me.
I think they're the team I think are going to finish first in this division. They are going to the playoffs.
so far, I am right with you in everything you've said.
And then if I go across to the Tetons, the best new addition is DeAndre Hopkins. My good
Without
God.
doubt.
I'm surprised more teams weren't in for him. I know the salary was gigantic and most teams don't have that salary room. But he's what they need. The one to watch for me is Will Levis. Because I still don't think they trust Tannehill. I think Will Levis will see game time this season, and I think he'll see far more than people thought.
I don't think it matters whether it's Levis or Tannehill throwing to DeAndre Hopkins. I think it might not be enough. I don't think you're going to see the DeAndre Hopkins you've seen everywhere else.
I think what helps this team is the fact that the Colts and the Texans are terrible.
I don't know why Hopkins just didn't write off a year salary wise and just go and win a Super Bowl. I really don't.
Yeah.
Cement his place in the Hall of Fame. I literally don't know why you wouldn't do that.
The OBJ route.
Yeah, but what, OBJ's got paid. He only played about 6 games to win his Super Bowl, didn't he? So
Ultimately,
he got paid okay.
The last two teams that were in for him were the Tetons and the Patriots, and it's much of a muchness between the two.
I'm sure if he went to the Chiefs and said, "I'll pay for league minimum," they'd have found a place for him.
Yeah. I mean, there's pretty much 20 other teams. But I think the Titans will finish second. I'm not sure the Titans will make the playoffs. I think there's only one team going through from this division, and that's the Jags.
Anyone want to contend anything other than the Jags? Because I will agree solidly with absolutely everything Paul has said. I think the Jags are the class of this division by a mile, which I never thought I would say.
Yeah, I can't disagree with anything. I am not as high on the Texans as he is. I think they may still finish bottom of the division, but I think it will be like a Rizzler between how bad the Colts and the Texans are. Like, literally, they're both just bad teams.
I think it will still be close between the Tetons and the Jags, just because that division just always is. Like, that division, no team wants to just take hold of it and start a dynasty, do they?
No.
Nobody wants to take charge of that division. They're still the Jags.
Can we take a moment to embrace the fact that we discovered this week that Frank Reich is Frank Reich III?
Yes.
I've been making all these jokes for years, and it's been right in front of me, and I didn't even see it.
It is unfortunate that they are supporting the Third Reich at the Tetons. The Colts, sorry. The Tetons probably as well. Don't like them either. Can't wait for them to
Vrabel's
fail.
a good coach, isn't he? That's the thing.
Is
That's
he
it.
though?
I think he is.
I think he is, yeah.
Like, he's a good players coach, but when you haven't got the players...
I don't think
Nobody's a good coach without the players.
They haven't had the players for
Belichick's-
years.
I'm not disagreeing entirely with that, but there's good players coaches. Like Mike Tomlin's, he's the best players coach. He hasn't actually won that many Super Bowls.
Oh, but the entire time he had until he left there, one of the best wideout in the league. He had a Hall of Fame going quarterback. He had the best running back in the league, one way or another.
But you have to knit it all together. Look how they failed without him. I think Vrabel knits things together. This is the testing season because I don't think DeAndre Hopkins is going to be very happy when he's having underthrown passes from Tannehill and overthrown passes from Will Levis.
Yeah, but he's been playing with Kyler Murray for last year, so he's used to crap.
That is true.
He's played with some awful
Yeah.
quarterbacks in his career.
He has.
Hoyer, twice.
TJ Yates,
TJ Yates.
Tom
absolutely.
Savage,
Yep, I'm not disagreeing.
Joe Man, Tom Savage.
And he does always he does always seem to get something out of it. But now he's reaching that point of his career where he's got to have someone throwing it to him.
History would tell me that it'll be close between the top two, just because the Jags, when they were Saxonville, apart from that 1 year, they have never run away with that division. So I don't think there's enough movement to say they are suddenly going to run away with the division. They may well win it, but I think it'll be close between the Tetons and the Jags. And that might make it close enough for the Titans to come out of the division. Because if the Colts and the Texans are both as poor as we think they might be, then they could easily get two wins against... That's 4 wins they could have. Yeah. That's a long way down the schedule to get into the playoffs these days.
I know we've got all the other AFC divisions to come. Is anyone confident in predicting that the number 1 pick will either be the Colts or the Texans? Because I think it could be the Colts.
I think there's worse teams.
I think that it will be someone else.
Okay.
But it wouldn't surprise me if those 2 teams will be in the top 5.
I think so. I think there's a very good chance the coach is
First
gone.
5,
I think it's all... John, we are coming to you next.
So I had the North. So in alphabetical order, the Bengals. Is Joe Burrow fit? Yes. The Bengals are Super Bowl contenders. Is he not? Is he injured?
So he strained his calf, didn't he?
Yeah.
He's had 4 weeks off, and I think basically he's not coming back until the first game.
Yeah.
But
He'll be there. He'll be excellent. And when he's playing, the Bengals stand a chance. When he's not, it's Trevor Siemian, and you might as well just give in. And I know, like, we do spend a lot of time on backup quarterbacks, but it's only when they're really poor. And so, but the Bengals.
Trevor Siemian, has started 30 NFL games, but he's only started 6 of those since the end of 2017.
Yeah,
He's just kicking around as a backup, and
that's all he's doing.
Someone's got to.
yeah, absolutely making his money. He's a Colt McCoy 2.0.
It's not great, but for me, the best addition for their team, Orlando Brown, helping protect, Joe, which is what he needs. I've got the one to watch, and it's only because I find it fascinating. Joe Mixon, he had a really average year last year. In fact, actually, probably below average. Is this going to be Joe Mixon's last year? Probably yes. Is this going to be Joe Mixon's last year in the league? Like, who's going to be willing to pay big money for Joe Mixon next year? Yeah,
I can't afford Joe Mixon.
Yeah.
Paul. No point pointing.
he's not going to make teeth.
No, he can't make false teeth for me. Sorry.
But I still think he for that team, I think he's incredibly useful. But yeah, so it's one to watch, not because he's going to be because of it, but how does he fit in to this plan? The Browns, it all depends on Deshaun Watson. Is Deshaun Watson the guy who came in and stunk for 6 games last season, or is he the guy who, before his misdemeanors and whatever else, was a top 5 in the league quarterback, but a top 5 quarterback who won 4 games in a season?
Quick show of vocal hands. Does anyone think Deshaun Watson won't be a lot better this season?
He'll be better.
He'll be much better.
I think he'll be much better.
I think they're they're in a much better place.
There are arguments from those who are watching the camp and everything that he isn't meshing with Stefanski's plan.
Good thing they paid him 200 million.
Well, that's the thing. What does that mean? If it doesn't work, Stefanski's out.
Yeah.
Best addition, Zadarius Smith. Great player. Adding to that defence. But yeah, the one to watch is Deshaun Watson. What is he gonna be? Ravens. So Lamar signed. OBJ is in. They're still run by Harbaugh, who is one of the more reliable coaches in the whole league. They lost Marlon Humphreys, not for the season, but for the start of the season, which doesn't help because the defence is strong at points, but very weak at others. They have signed Jadeveon Clowney.
The man allergic to preseason.
He hates preseason. He hates, but he can help create some pressure because actually the defensive line isn't looking great on paper.
Did you see the first training video they put of him? Was him running a slant route?
Really?
Yeah. So they've had him running receiver routes.
Nice. But yeah, the thing is, like, on paper they aren't the best defense, but actually at the end of the season last season they were the best defense in the league, and it was a mistake in the playoffs that meant they didn't beat the Bengals. The bloke tried to jump the line, wasn't it? And they got peanut punched out. That's how close they were from beating the Bengals in the playoffs. Like, it's testament to good coaching. I think actually Lamar being back and being bothered because he didn't want to play last season and cost himself a contract elsewhere. That was the thing. I think that helps. The best addition is potentially could be OBJ. The one to watch. It's not exciting, but it's Lamar, because are we going to get the guy who was the MVP, or are we going to get the guy who was looking frustrated on the sideline?
I think the guy who was MVP is gone. Like, teams know what he's going to do.
Well, he's already threatening.
Gone.
He's saying he's going to throw. Like, I know it's tongue in cheek, but he's like 6,000 yards. You're like, I've seen you throw, and I mean, I know there's a change in offensive coordinator there, which is helped. I think it got tired there, but
He's not unique. The season he won MVP, he was unique. There's other players who play like him,
and it was, I think, evident that the defenses against him were calling out his plays as he was going through the motions. Like, it becomes stale, it become predictable, so it needed to change. Steelers, TJ Watt is back, which is huge. Kenny Pickett looked
Yes, you can.
looked better at the end of the year. They've bulked up the line, so their best addition, Isaac Smalo, who should help. One to watch, can we get Najee Harris back, please, as a running threat? Because first year he was so fun to watch. Last year it was kind of depressing. And so it'd be nice to have Najee Harris. I think Bengals top the division. Steelers go through on wild card for me. I think Ravens and come third, struggle behind, and Browns. I'm not buying it.
I disagree with where you've placed the Ravens there.
Yeah, that's the whole. But I think they'll be. I just think they're behind both the Bengals and the Steelers.
I agree with you. The Bengals are the clear front runner in this division. Which, if you would think when we started this 5 years ago, the Bengals being the front runner of anything, like even the best team in Cincinnati, they'd have struggled.
But yeah,
I think the Ravens are better than you're giving them credit for.
They're very well coached, but so are the Steelers, aren't they?
Yeah.
So, they're teams with different challenges, aren't they? So the Ravens should have a top quarterback for what they're paying for him, and the Steelers have got a rookie quarterback, but then some of the pieces around that quarterback are probably slightly better, especially running back, if they perform, than they are at the Ravens. So they are probably pretty even. The Bengals all comes down to injuries.
Yeah.
If they can stay fit. If they stay fit, then the Bengals win the division. The other two is very close, and the Browns are just a car crash again.
Yeah, and it's a shame
Because Gary's very short summary.
Because actually, if you're going to go on talent, the best running back in the league, I think, is Nick Chubb.
Of course,
and
yeah,
he's going on a potentially wasted career at the moment because he's not going to. He needs to move to win something.
Like Amari Cooper's a wonderful running wide
Yeah.
receiver as well. And
They've got talent. It doesn't seem to work. Stefanski maybe isn't the coach we think he is either. Just can't. Something about it doesn't seem right. I also think the Browns finish bottom of that division. Yeah. I think the Ravens will be a comfortable second. I think the Steelers are some way off still, and I don't buy Kenny Pickett yet. Yes, I think there's a lot of talent in there. He didn't look particularly up to speed at any point last season.
Not very dynamic.
It's not like he got better as the season went on. He was just a bit flat, and so I think it's still in there, but
it's good PR because he's the only person who doesn't seem to be under any threat.
That's true.
Yeah.
That's true.
Would you like to know Jim's predictions for these two divisions, by the way?
I mean, yeah, sure.
So he had Jags, Titans, Colts, Texans. And in the north, he has Bengals, Ravens, Steelers, Browns.
They're pretty close.
Yeah, pretty close.
And he has Ravens in the wild card.
Gary, over to you for your extremely well-researched AFC division, the West.
It's not my fault that I can be a bit more concise than you lot. So
It's just literally the four teams in the division.
That's it, yeah, their positions. So I haven't done one to watch or any of this kind of stuff because I was not informed of that. So tough shit. You can work that out yourselves, basically. So I'm going to tease you by going in reverse order of where I think they're going to finish. So we're going to start with...
You're going to tease me by coming in backwards?
Always. So we're going to start with one of the worst teams in the whole of the NFL, the Raiders.
Yep.
So the Raiders somehow have managed to make things worse in the off-season. So they... What?
Yeah, it is true.
It's so true.
I'm just going to be honest. I haven't got time for any of this other political shit. So they've managed to make things worse. So they got rid of Derek Carr for Jimmy Garoppolo, which is a disaster. So Jimmy Garoppolo fit is about 70% of Derek Carr. So I'm not really sure where they think they're going with that. Obviously, just a placeholder probably for a year, but that's going to be a problem. They also decided to pay loads of money to Jacoby Myers, which is really stupid, because they lost Darren Waller. So they're just compounding bad decisions with more bad decisions. So the Raiders are still doing Raiders things, which really worries me.
I mean, when you look at bad decisions, have you seen the owner's haircut?
Oh, it is bad. It is bad. And that's coming from a bald dude.
Yeah.
You feel confident enough to criticise somebody's hair, and he's got a full head. It's only a bowl, but it's a full head.
I mean, there's not many people I can, but I feel pretty confident on that one.
You know, they have added some pieces at defence, kind of second-level defenders, but they still just look short at almost every position you look at the Raiders. And it's a shame for them because they're obviously trying to start new in Vegas, and it's just, the drafting was poor. They've spent lots of money. They haven't got much capital. Salary cap looks in a bad place. So I'm not sure really where the Raiders go. I think you're probably looking at another year or two of pain before they start going anywhere. So I didn't want to tease you too much with that surprise, but the Raiders in fourth for me. If you want one to watch, what was it? One to watch?
One to watch.
Jimmy G for 3 games. And what was the other category?
Best new addition.
Jimmy G, because they didn't have a quarterback. They got rid of Derek Carr.
Yeah, they had Eastern Stick, didn't they, or something like that?
Literally, they had nothing, did they? Absolutely nothing. Probably, I don't know.
It was pretty terrible. It was thin pickings. And as it is, do you know who comes into play when Jimmy Garoppolo gets injured?
No.
Hoyer time.
It's Brian Hoyer.
That's it. They're just signing
It's the Josh McDaniels way.
I imagine
You could be seeing Brian Hoyer for 15 games this season.
Honestly, what are they doing?
I can't wait.
Josh McDaniels is like the ultimate falling upwards as a head coach. Isn't he?
Our friend Steve, who is a Raiders fan, did actually message me today and say, "Oh, should we be talking about how well the Raiders are doing in pre-season?" And I just laughed at him. I was like, "Pre-season literally means absolutely nothing. You are probably the only people out there playing their first teamers for the majority of the game because there's no difference between your first teamers and your reserve roster. They're all as shit as each other, mate." So.
I mean, their second string is some guy they found at a bus stop, isn't it?
Awful. Honestly, awful.
You summed it up nicely there.
And then, right, okay, so we're going to go on to the team I think are going to finish third next. Now, this was trickier, actually. I think second and third in this division are up for grabs. But I am going to say that the Broncos are going to finish third because Russell Wilson is still a pile of shit.
Yeah.
That's
fair.
Obviously, we've now got a coach who can coach him and bring him down a peg. But I thought last year that Wilson was done. I think Pete Carroll might be lots of things, but I think he knows about football. I think he knew Wilson was done. He's not as mobile as he used to be. So I think everything they're trying to build is a problem if they're relying on Wilson. I think they have added some good players. I think Mike McGlinchey and Ben Powers to try and protect Wilson, try and give him some hope of actually passing the ball will help. And Sammy P. Ryan to help the running back situation because Javonte Williams is still injured will help as well. But I think it's going to take Peyton longer than one off season to turn that around. If it wasn't a case of plug Russell Wilson in and it's fixed, then it's going to take a bit longer. I've got a feeling Wilson will be moving on after this season. That's where I see it. I just don't think they've got enough pieces on that offense.
If anyone can resurrect him, if resurrection is what is required, Sean Payton may be the guy.
Yeah,
to do
look, Sean Payton. We saw him what he did at the Saints. Which was he won Super Bowl and got his quarterback to throw the ball 10 yards, lots for 10 years. So he might win a Super Bowl, but look, he can probably get him into a functional quarterback role, can't he? He can make enough plays that Wilson can throw the ball. Can you see Wilson being okay with that? Not being the main man, not doing all the flashy stuff. I don't know if I buy into that.
No, I'm with you. I think this is another team where you could be seeing a change of quarterback midway through the season once they've fallen out. Then, in which case, it's Jarrett Stidham.
Yeah,
he keeps saying in the press, and I don't know if it is just to try and light a fire, that Jarrett Stidham is a starting quarterback in this. And you're like, no, you've said some shit this offseason, mate. But that's the biggest pile of shit I've heard.
Yeah, look, he's trying to get a reaction, isn't he? And he's trying to kind of make it clear to Russell Wilson that that he's the boss, I think, because Wilson obviously was walking around with his entourage, trying to try all kinds of shit.
Entourage.
I wonder where I was going with that for a second, but I thought I managed to pull that in back quite well.
It's the French pronunciation.
Entourage.
What of a French word?
That's right.
So like I said, I don't think the Broncos will have enough to challenge the team that will finish second in this division, which is obviously the Chiefs. No, I'm joking. I'm joking. I just wanted to see your little faces. The Chargers. So I think, probably one of the most frustrating and disappointing teams in the last 2 years in the NFL. They've obviously paid big money now to Herbert, so that's going to start having an impact on them. They have put extra pieces around him, so they put Quentin Johnston with him this year. So I think they're trying to give him enough pieces. There's question marks about Keenan Allen. Is he going to be the same player coming back from injury? A lot of people starting to think he might be done. But again, in pre-season, he's made a few nice catches. A few highlight reels have been coming out about Keenan Allen. And he has been superb for years. And then obviously, Kellen Moore is now obviously going to be looking after the offense there, which is a big plus. I think he is a modern play caller, isn't he? I think he looks at the game in a slightly better way. So hopefully, I think the offense will be good. It's whether the defense will have enough to back it up.
Or won't get injured repeatedly like they always do.
That's the thing. When you look at what they've actually got on the roster,
It's phenomenal.
it's amazing. But they just never seem to be able to get all of them on the field at the same time. So I think head coaching is an issue. We've talked about it, haven't we? So I think quite a few people are surprised Staley's still there.
That is a very hot seat this season.
Yeah.
So look, a team with talent, but not enough talent to take down the Chiefs, which unsurprisingly are going to come first in the division. So there's not really much to say about the Chiefs.
Good team, still good.
Yeah, very, very good. You know, one of the
Arguably
best
better.
teams over the last 5 years. Obviously, they've added some new pieces. Obviously, they've lost the enemy, but we'll see how much of it was him versus how much of it was Andy Reid. You know, I think Mahomes is probably at the point in his career now where he can run a game himself. So I think between Andy Reid and Mahomes, they've got enough. Kelsey starting to get a bit older. It's interesting to see if he can put up the same numbers that he has. You know, tight ends don't. And I know he is more of in the ilk of a wide receiver than a full-on tight end, but you know, you do see them drop off when they get into their early 30s, whether it be Gronk, whether it be Jimmy Graham, Vernon Davis. It doesn't matter who it is. You do start to see that. So he'll probably only have a year or two left at the top, I would say. So be interesting to see. You know, they've obviously got all the pieces they need. You know, they did lose a couple of people in the summer, but they've replaced pretty well.
They always do.
Exactly, they always do, and it's well coached, isn't it? You know, it's going to be well coached. So,
Did they bring Matt Nagy in as the OC? Because I mean,
yes, I believe so. Yeah.
from watching quarterback, it looked like Matt Nagy was doing most of it anyway.
Yeah.
You didn't see Eric Bieniemy had no lines of dialogue in that whole series.
Yeah.
So it is weird. It is funny to watch. And yeah, I think I know maybe it's because what he says is, you know, they don't want getting out, but
I think
he
when
had
you
said
look at
nothing.
The likes of Manning, you know, Mahomes, Brady, you know, they know everything, don't they? They know the playbook inside and out for years and years. Playing for these teams under these head coaches, they are leaders within that organisation, aren't they? Not just players. They get paid a lot of money, and I think they're game managers as much as anything, aren't they? So, so that was it for me. So Chiefs first, Chargers second, and in the playoffs.
Okay.
The Chargers will make the playoffs, and then the Raiders are shit, and Broncos are third.
I agree with you that the Chargers should be in the playoffs.
I agree with you. They should. They probably will. I think I would put them in there, and then they'll just lose in the first round of the playoffs.
I have them in third in the division, behind the Broncos. So does Jim.
Wow.
Because
Your eyes don't work.
because the Broncos have Peyton and
They've still got to get Russell Wilson to do everything Peyton wants him to, and he is shit.
But but I trust him more than I trust Brandon Staley, who has
So you're taking
a top 5 quarterback and has flattered to deceive for years, despite being a defensive
Early in the season
coordinator.
to start saying I agree with Gary, but I agree with Gary.
Well, nothing's happened yet. Let's
No,
wait
no.
till the game time to happen. That's when we can say, you know.
No,
but-
lots have happened. Do you see how good the Raiders were in pre-season?
yeah, true.
Over to me then for the AFC East, which is going to light some fire.
I saw that you'd got them. I was like, fucking hell, it's going to be ages.
Okay, well, I'll start at the top. I also went my own way with this, but why not? So the Bills, for me, best quarterback in the division, regardless of the Rodgers position. He is the best quarterback in the division. The only downside last season was 14 interceptions, which is about 8 or 9 too many.
That's quite a lot.
Yeah, exactly. Now, he gets away because he throws so many deep passes. You're always going to have 1 or 2 more than the leader of the interceptions. But, yeah, that's the only downside. People say he takes off and runs too much. Well, he has to because, and it sticks, their running back unit is weak. It is not good enough to... You've got James Cook, but he does not look like he can do everything an all-out back can do.
He's not even the best cook in the division anymore.
And then you've got Damian Harris, signed from the Patriots, who is the same. He can do lots and lots of things, but not all of the things. So I don't think the running back unit has improved enough, and ultimately maybe they're undoing.
Why didn't they go and sign one of them? I don't understand.
No, it was a strange decision, but
Why would you go there as a free agent? Because they've never put any emphasis on the run game for 5 years.
no. Well, they do, but they do it through Josh Allen.
Well, that's it. Yeah, you know that you're just going to be stood behind Josh Allen while he runs off.
I'd take that role. That sounds great.
Yeah.
He can be my lead blocker. That's perfectly okay.
League minimum sounds fine.
Let's be honest, though. The Allen to Diggs machine is going to march on. They will score plenty of touchdowns this season, and they will be a force. They will win this division. It won't be necessarily comfortable, but they will win the division. I expect they'll probably go fairly far in the playoffs too. Next up for me, the Jets. I think the Jets will be second in the division this season. I think it's going to be very tight, second and third, but I will take the Jets. They've added Aaron Rodgers, who is going to be on a mission to prove that he can be better than he was in Green Bay. Regardless of what you think about Aaron Rodgers, he fucking hated being there the last 3 or 4 years. I think he was keeping stuff in reserve. I think he's still not peak Aaron Rodgers, but better than you've seen the last couple of seasons, Aaron Rodgers. And they've added Dalvin Cook, the better running back Cook. And for me, you're going to get Michael Carter back as well.
Breece Hall.
And Breece Hall.
Breece Hall's the one, yeah. Could be.
Yes. So they've got a good selection. I like Michael Carter. I think he's good. But the point is, Rodgers upgrades the whole team. The issue...
They've got Garrett Wilson. They've got
some serious players. The issue for me is I still haven't seen enough out of Robert Saleh to know whether he's any good.
I think he's fine.
I think he's okay, but it could be a bit Brandon Staley or a bit Zach Taylor in that, like, you could get lucky and have a hot streak and go really well, but is he actually really contributing to that? Like, I'm not sure. I'm not sold on him. The biggest problem for the Jets is their early season schedule is tough. It's hard. Like, they could conceivably be 2-5 after their first 7 games. Now, you could say that about anyone, but theirs is tough to start the season. So that's why I think the Bills will have a march.
This is the tightest division now.
I think that's what I'm getting to. I think no, that's fine. That's fine.
Of yours could be, if you take away the Chiefs.
That's the problem. The Chiefs should comfortably win the West. I think the AFC East. I think the Bills have slightly regressed. The Jets have jumped a long way, and then I've got Patriots third. Before you jump on me, listen out. The addition of Bill O'Brien is massive. If anyone's going to get anything out of Mac Jones, who, don't forget, in his first year was the best rookie quarterback, then Bill O'Brien can do that. We mentioned earlier some of the shit quarterbacks he got to the playoffs with at the Texans.
Brock Osweiler.
Yep, exactly. We've also added Zeke. Now,
Did you see the picture of Zeke? He looks pregnant.
Yeah, no.
He's looked pregnant for 4 years.
Agreed.
He looks like
he looks massive.
Pregnant.
But Ramondre Stevenson is going to do all the work, and then Zeke is going to punch that ball in from the 3-yard line, just like he did for the Cowboys last year. The Cowboys lost 12 touchdowns by letting him go. That's, if he gets 8 to 10 touchdowns, the Patriots will say, we've had our money's worth for a year out of Zeke. That's all they want him for. The issue is going to be if Mac Jones has a slow start. If the Patriots are 2-4, 2-5 to start the season, something like that, how long before everyone's chanting for Zappe? Because it's been a quarterback controversy in the media, not from in-house. Bill has said all along, it's Mac Jones. But everyone saw last year with a simplified playbook that Zappe seemed to play better. It's a very unfair picture, but the point is it's there and they're going to be calling for it if the Patriots don't start reasonably well. And that just adds pressure into the situation. Now, this was tough to put the Dolphins last. I'll tell you why. I understand Paul's shaking his head. He's got them in second, I should think, in the division. But for me, they're last because Tua's had 3 concussions last year, 2 definite and 1 probable. His health... But don't forget, people talking about him not playing again. He will get hit. He will get knocked out of a game. And once they lose him, they will fall apart. And he will be done at some point this season. I know he started more games last season than he'd done any other, but it's the head injuries.
Isn't Waddle injured as well?
He's carrying a strain. But don't get me wrong. When you've got Hill and Waddle, that's what I've got in their plus column. Hill and Waddle, that's an amazing wideout duo, as best as anything anybody else has got. You've added Jalen Ramsey at cornerback. Like, their wideouts and their cornerbacks are amazing. They're going to be brilliant, but they're going to fail once Tua gets injured. And he will get injured.
Ramsey's starting the season injured, isn't he, as well?
Yeah,
so he'll
he's carrying.
he'll only come back for like
Game 4?
I think maybe long. I think
thought
it
it was
might be longer.
But they can cope without that to start with. The fact that they've added him is a great show of where they're going. But I do not believe that they can keep Tua upright for long enough to be competitive at the top of this division. Now, if he plays all 17 regular season games, they finish second behind the Bills. Absolutely. No doubt. But if he plays 12 or fewer, they don't. They just don't. Skylar Thompson is not going to win you any games. He had 4 starts last year, and in 3 of those starts, he threw 3 interceptions.
The only thing I disagree with, the Patriots will comfortably finish bottom of this division.
I don't think so.
You've said this before, and you were wrong.
Yeah, you must owe us money and pizza.
I understand. On paper, they look like the worst team.
Yeah.
But the game isn't played on paper.
No. It's played in Bill's head.
Yeah, it's played. Don't get me. Bill O'Brien's holding the team. Bill Belichick's holding the team back. But I have more faith in them than I have in Tua's ability to stay fit.
I think it's just such a difficult division to call.
If you said the
we've
Bills,
never seen Rodgers, play outside. Obviously he played away, but he played his entire career at Green Bay. How many players have you seen where it hasn't worked when they've left their big club? Yeah, it could go, and it could be an absolute disaster. It shouldn't, because there's enough talent around him. But
if you said the Bills finished 12-5 and everyone else is either 9-8 or 8-9, you'd struggle to argue with that.
yeah, it is that close.
I think so.
I think the Bills. I think the Bills could struggle to win the division, actually. But there we go. That's just me. I think they were a bit disappointing last year. They just seemed to
they tailed off.
flatter to deceive a bit. Josh Allen didn't look quite as good. He made bad mistakes at the wrong time. I think their window is closing to win the Super Bowl, if I'm honest.
I think it's closed.
I haven't got them winning the Super
The
Bowl. I will tell
connection
you
to
that.
Diggs wasn't as good because everyone knew he was going there. They don't use enough other people. Feasibly, if it really works for the other two teams, it could easily be Jets, Dolphins.
If it's not,
I think the Jets could win this division.
if it's not the Bills, it'll be the
could.
Dolphins.
Yeah,
I think you can make an argument for all of them apart from the
You
Patriots.
can't.
to win
Yeah,
it.
Patriots won't win it.
And I hate Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah.
But I can still see it happening.
Yeah, I agree. All 3 of the others could win it. The Patriots won't win it, but
They could sneak into the They could sneak in.
the playoffs. I haven't got
wild
them in the playoffs. I've got Bills and Jets in the playoffs.
So Jim has Bills, Jets, Dolphins, Patriots. I have Bills, Dolphins, Jets, Patriots, and I don't have the Jets making the playoffs.
Oh, everyone think Patriots bottom then?
I haven't said that yet.
No, but
I'm going to go, because I think Tua will get injured.
yeah,
So I think the same as you. So I'm going to go Jets, Bills, Patriots, Dolphins.
we're getting
Nice,
a lot of
nice.
accord early in the season. Okay, that is the AFC swiftly dealt with.
Cool. Should we take a break and come back with the NFC then?
Of course.
Awesome.
Welcome back from our little interlude. We are now embarking on the NFC. Once around the table, same compass points, new divisions. Paul, over to you.
I shall start with the Atlanta Falcons.
Boo!
I mean, they're okay. I'm going to follow the format I went through last time. The top addition for me is re-signing Chris Lindstrom, because he is a all-pro, Pro Bowl quality.
Might be the best thing about them.
And they signed Calais Campbell. He's massive.
Tremendous length.
Incredible length. Wrecks people with incredible length, Madden used to say. So I think that's a hell of an addition. The one to watch for me is Bijan Robinson. This guy could be the next Saquon.
You suggesting he could be offensive rookie of the year?
It's
And then
possible.
take a year off.
Yeah. And then tear his ACL very, very quickly.
10 out of 10 only played half the time. It's only a 5 out of 10, Paul.
The thing, well, I'm not disagreeing, that's the problem. The thing that I like about the Falcons is they very publicly gone behind Desmond Ridder, but still signed Taylor Heineke, who I think is a decent backup. He's not going to win it all, but he's okay.
He will be better than Desmond Ridder.
But at least they've done what Pittsburgh did with Pickett. where we're going with this guy. And I like it. I've gone for them finishing second in this division.
Bullshit.
I think the defence is decent. I think they'll be a fun team to watch.
Cool. I've got this as the exact opposite of the AFC East. I think this is the worst division in football, but I have the Falcons winning it.
And you'd be wrong.
You've got the Falcons winning it.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm then next going to go to the Carolina Panthers.
Yep.
The best addition for me is Justin Houston.
Yeah.
Who is a veteran linebacker, but that was still 10 sacks 9.5 sacks at the Ravens last season. That's production this team needs when they've sold the house for the number 1 pick. The one to watch for me will be Adam Thielen. Because Adam Thielen with a point to prove will be quite interesting. And Adam Thielen, where he is old, but he's been completely
in the red zone.
He's been completely overshadowed by the best wideout in the league for the last 2 years. So I think he's going to be one to watch there. I've got them finishing bottom of this division.
He's like Jordy Nelson was when he left the Packers.
He went to the Raiders and was terrible.
Did nothing.
I think.
Sorry, I'm just saying.
No,
that's who he is.
but I still think this team's going to finish bottom of the division. I agree with you. But he's one to watch because there's no middle ground. It's either going to go well or it's going to be utter toilet. So I've got them finishing 4th. The team I've got finishing 3rd is the Buccaneers. So the best addition for them is Ryan Jensen coming back from IR. He was instrumental on the line for them when they were winning games behind the Brady machine. The one to watch for me is Cade Otton, their tight end. He looked decent. And I know they've got Mike Evans, I know they've got Godwin, and they have got a good 1-2 punch at wideout, but Cade Otton looked like he was coming into his own at tight end. And from a team that had Gronk, and Cameron Brate was always okay.
Yeah.
Just below league average or just below it?
Yeah, I mean, I really like Cameron Brate. I think he's been underutilised there.
And that's why they've released him.
Yeah, because of the wealth of what they've had.
So, Cade Otton for me. I think they'll finish 3rd. The team that I think will win this division is the Saints. Derek Carr comes in, and for a team that have been trying to do all these weird technical things, they've just got an undoubted starter who's good, has a very specific way of playing, which I think will be good for them. The one to watch is Chris Olave for me, because he's going to get ball this season. He is going to be catching ball. Michael Thomas could come in, catch 9 million. Michael Thomas.
That fella that disappeared.
Yeah, he could come in. He could play 17 games and catch 9 million slants for 10 yards.
He'll play enough games to get all of his money.
Yes. Chris Olave will be getting depth.
Off Derek Carr.
That's right.
He's going to be pushing that depth for him.
Right in
leading
there.
him through it.
So I think they're going to finish 1st. When I looked at the roster for this team, you've still got some great players there. Some really, really great players.
Defense is decent.
Yeah, and I know there's stuff going on with Alvin Kamara, but he's still one of the best running backs in the league when he wants to be.
Yeah, is he missing 4 games or 6 games to start the season?
I think I had it 4.
I think it was 4. But
It's 4.
It's 4. And that's the biggest problem. I actually agree. I think the Saints win the division. Yeah. I've got the Falcons 2nd. I think that's too much talent there that you can't continue to waste, but I don't think it'll be Desmond Ridder. I think it'll be Heineke. Look what he did at the Commanders when he was given the chance. He was the best quarterback there.
I don't think it matters.
That's
They're going to run it.
that's
They're
the
going to run it
truth.
again, and then they're going to run it.
Yep.
Probably. I mean,
That's
why
what they were
would you
doing
not?
with Corderell, wasn't it?
But yeah, I had the Panthers comfortably bottom of this. I think the Bucks will be fairly close to them, though. I think they're going to suck this year.
I've got Saints, Bucks, Falcons, Panthers. I don't like the Falcons. I don't think they're very good. I think Ridder isn't going to be that good. Heineke isn't that great. Yeah, you can keep trying to run it, but you've got to have some. You've got to mix up the game a bit. Otherwise, it just won't work.
Anyone have faith in Baker as the starting quarterback?
Absolutely
Of the Bucks?
not.
But there's enough around Baker, isn't there? That's the thing.
But is there?
Yeah, but they
Is
always
it a more talented roster than he had at the Browns?
when you take
Yeah.
Like a wide receiver, yeah.
I'm not
Mike
sure.
Evans and Godwin are.
They are.
I mean,
Brilliant.
Mike Evans is a top 5 receiver.
Yes.
I mean,
So
the thing with Mike Evans is brilliant. He isn't 11 feet tall.
he made Johnny Manziel look brilliant in
He
college.
did, but
So Mike Evans has
no one's going to get excited about a Baker Mayfield or Kyle Trask
no.
led offense to the point where I can't see myself going like I'm like, no, they've still got Evans, they've still got Godwin.
I don't think it matters.
But I can't see him getting more than 6 wins.
One running back does not make a summer. Yeah. The Falcons were terrible last year.
They've got 4.
Yeah, but
No,
they
no.
might have, but
Name one at the
different,
Bucks.
different versus what they had.
Yeah,
but
Bijan
I mean,
Robinson
I-
is brilliant.
And I'd get that, but like if you look at their total package versus what they had last
I
year,
love the fact
yeah,
that it's the
just-
Falcons that has caused the most
Yeah.
But
attention.
honestly,
so
I
far.
just think they're a really bad.
That's
team.
what I love about
I
this
think the
sport.
Panthers will be worse, but I don't think they're going to be better than
Panthers
the
are
Bucks.
going to be comfortably worse. I really think the Bucks are going to be terrible this season. I love Kyle Trask.
Well, I
in
don't
college.
care. Neither of them are
Yeah,
getting
yeah.
to the playoffs, but
No.
like
Oh yeah.
So, but my question
the
I was coming to
Saints for the playoffs. No one
my
else.
question I was coming to about Mike Evans. He has 9 consecutive 1,000-yard seasons. First player to start a career that way. Jerry Rice has 11 consecutive 1,000-yard seasons. Chances of Mike Evans making it to 11 now that Brady has gone.
I still think he will.
Yeah, but you got to remember he was being thrown off.
Jameis, yeah.
It was-
It's Jameis who bombs the ball, but none
was-
of the quarterbacks that they've got now do that.
They could bomb the ball.
But he doesn't.
It wasn't even
Might be
good
allowed to.
Brady though, was it? Like it was
Mediocre
not protected. 44-year-old just before he's gone through all his plastic surgery and looks like a
It's
Barbie.
question about Mike Evans' talent. Mike Evans on most other teams would be even higher ranked.
But I watched Baker last year. Like he was good for a game. The rest of the time he stunk. The year before he stunk. I can't get excited about Baker. I worry that this is the end of Mike Evans' streak because
So do I.
it's actually quite cool. He's been brilliant for years.
If you said right now the betting was he makes 1,001 yards or fewer than 800 yards, what are you taking?
1001.
I would take the 1,000.
I would take fewer than 800.
I'd take the under.
Yep. I think
And it's
they're gonna
nothing
miss-
against Evans.
No, it really isn't.
It's.
Well, no,
I think the Bucks as a whole.
DeAndre Hopkins got 1,000-yard seasons catching the ball from idiots. So I think we look. I don't know.
I mean, you raised the point if he made Manziel look good. You're right. Look how good Manziel was when he turned up in the league.
Has anyone watched the Untold documentary on him yet?
Yeah.
no.
What
I
about
have.
getting
The
dad
documentary-
to take his
too
drug
long.
test for him and stuff like that.
It's rubbish. The documentary is rubbish, but all it does is highlight the point. They said to him, how much video did you watch? And he goes, 0, none. He basically said, I wasn't interested. By the time I got there, I'd made my money. I didn't care. And that's it. And you kind of think, yeah, because they're kids. They're all just kids.
Well, they're all making money in college now
Exactly.
as well.
Well,
Are we spending far too much time on a dross division?
Yes, we are. Sorry,
I mean,
Paul.
the only
You're
thing I'm excited about with the Bucks is the uniforms.
Yeah, they're cool.
The creamsicle.
Creamsicle, which is something you did. Oh, no. John, over to you.
The North.
Like Jon Snow.
Ta-da, the North. All right, Jon Snow.
I don't know. I don't know what
You
you're
never
about.
watched it, did you?
Nah. No, I'm
it's the
I'm
one
too
you
busy
ignore.
having a
Nothing
life.
Jon Snow.
John, no.
The Bears. They will be better than last year.
Odd.
That's all I can say. Like they have spent money wisely.
Is Justin Fields going to be good, John?
No, he's gonna be the rushing leader in terms of quarterbacks, but he's thrown. I think he's only thrown 800 yards in his career so far. And Nick Foles did that in a fucking game. You didn't, but
Super Bowl winning Nick Foles.
yeah.
Super Bowl MVP, Nick Foles.
I apologise to Nick Foles.
Philly special, Nick Foles.
Exactly.
7 touchdowns in one game, Nick Foles.
But I like.
Just released by the Colts, Nick Foles.
Tremaine Edmonds is their best addition because you'd want the like what are Chicago famed for? It's a big bruising defense and smash mouth football. At least they're getting back to the big bruising defence. Tremaine Edmonds helps that. Want to watch DJ Moore. If Justin Fields is to be a difference maker, adding DJ Moore will help. Not that I like DJ Moore, but you wouldn't have if you were doing a power ranking, you wouldn't have him in your top 20 wide receivers.
No, you would not.
So let's see what difference he makes. But yeah, the Bears will be fourth. There'll be shoots of improvement, but it's not this year.
What's the best thing about the Bears this season? I'll tell you what the best thing about the Bears this season.
Fat Bear season.
Fat Bear season. No, the best thing about the Bears this season is if Justin Fields gets injured, you get to see Nate Peterman.
Yeah,
because he's still on a team.
He's been playing in pre-season.
That man's agent
Where's
is
Mike Glennon?
Nate
must be
Peterman
somewhere.
and PJ Walker.
The irony is, nobody's putting their neck on the line for Mike Glennon.
Lions. They are they'll have improved the defense a bit, added some players. They lost a lot of games last year by close margins. Can they close those gaps and make it into the playoffs? The no team confuses me as much as the Lions. Their draft business was bizarre.
Yes.
Their off-season acquisitions are fine. DJ Moore. Oh, he's a good player. Robert Tonyan. Oh, that's not a bad tight end. Tremaine Edmonds, actually, good pickup. TJ Edwards was really good at the end of the season for the Eagles. But it's all just a bit meh. But you're coming from such a low base. I still think it's going to be bad. Oh, I'm talking about bad. Still going about Bears. The Lions have added David Montgomery.
Have you just mixed the Lions and the Bears together?
Unbelievable.
Oh my.
I was getting very confused by what you were saying.
Yeah,
You're
sorry.
reading it off a screen.
I know.
Come on, how is it that hard?
But yeah, no, the Lions also they've brought in David Montgomery. They've let DeAndre Swift go.
So the Lions with the Bears signings are a bit meh.
Yeah. I came back on the bit. But yeah,
they've brought in David Montgomery, but they've also got Jameer Gibbs and,
and
Jamal Williams.
No, they haven't got Jamal Williams. Jamal Williams has gone to the Saints.
Yep.
That's why the Saints are going to win the division.
Yeah. So David Montgomery, $18 million, 3 years. That's so much money. Emmanuel Mosley, good cornerback. CJ Gardner-Johnson, good year for the Eagles. There's some good players, but once again, it's meh. The whole division is meh. The Vikings. I'll go with the Packers. I'll go with alphabetical. Packers.
How are you making this such hard work? We've gone all the way around the table.
It's because I
did some prep.
And still balls it up.
Watch in about 5 minutes. You can watch me having done no prep and see how it can fly.
So the Packers have had the worst off season of anyone. So they've let go of a Hall of Fame quarterback. Mm-hmm. They've re-signed Jordan Love to a prove-it deal. Mm-hmm. They have bought in Justin Hollins, re-signed. Rudy Ford, re-signed. Matt Orzech, re-signed. Keyshawn Nixon, who's re-signed. They've done fuck all. Their best addition is Luke Musgrave on the draft.
So hang on, just before anyone else joins in, let me just clarify this because I'm slightly confused by your preview. But have you not got the Packers bottom of this division?
I'm going through in alphabetical order. Yes.
He's already said the Bears are finishing bottom of this
division.
division.
Yeah, that's what I thought he said.
Yes,
you
Bears
told me why the Packers should be bottom of this division because they're clearly worse than the Bears.
No.
Oh, absolutely.
You are criminally wrong. The Bears are awful.
The Packers have kept Aaron Jones. That was important.
Yeah.
And their defense is okay.
And
okay.
And they've got Christian Watson, who's looked phenomenal last season.
Packers are going to be the worst team by a mile.
So, best addition, Luke Musgrave. On to watch Christian Watson. They will finish third. Bears are bottom of this. They're just poor. Lions, I think, will be second because the Vikings are just better than the Lions. They're more predictable. They brought in Brian Flores for the defense, which helps because the defense was a clown show last year. They're the opposite of the Lions. They won so many close games. Yeah. They could drop quite significantly because if they start losing those close games, they still have the best receiver in football. Justin Jefferson is and
maybe the most underrated quarterback.
No, so
I agree.
They've got rid of Dalvin Cook and replaced him with Alexander
Dalvin Cook 2.0. Alexander Mattison. He's been brilliant every time he's been called upon.
Bullshit. So, yeah, that's the thing that worries me is they've got weaker.
Have they still got Ham?
They still do have CJ Ham.
Just checking.
But, I mean, Mattison and Ham is no Cook. I find it hard to get excited by any of these teams, quite frankly.
Well, basically, the Vikings should walk away with this division.
I don't think they will walk away. I don't think they're good.
Didn't I?
I don't think they should.
Of course they should.
Did they have Zay Flowers come in or Jordan Addison?
The Vikings should walk away with this division.
Oh, I agree with you all completely. The Vikings should walk this easy.
Yeah. I also have the Vikings winning, but I only have them winning by one game from the Lions.
Yeah.
I have Vikings, Lions close.
Dan Campbell.
Vikings and Lions close.
I have the Lions in the playoffs comfortably.
Yeah, Vikings and Lions close. I also think the Lions will be in the playoffs this year. And then I have the Bears next and the Packers bottom with maybe 5 wins.
The Lions have improved, but the Vikings are by far a better team.
I don't think they're by far a better team, but they are a better team. The fact that I would have put the Lions top if it wasn't for the Flores signing for the defence.
That's it.
That makes a big difference because their defence was awful. I mean, it wasn't Bears awful. They gave up the most points since World War II, but it was awful.
It was awful. It was bad.
Remember World War II? That was a long, long, long time ago.
I mean, I wasn't there personally.
No.
I've heard about it.
We go, you can mention, one of the close wins. They conceded in the first half 31 points to the Colts, who couldn't get out their own way.
No. I think
they couldn't do that intentionally, but they did it somehow.
But sometimes, if you're 30 points behind and you lose by a score, it's just garbage time points. It's not a close game, is it? Some of them were, some of them weren't.
Yeah, but
that's all I'm saying.
I'm just if I can't get excited by the Vikings. I can't get excited by it.
Ask you to look with open eyes, John.
The Vikings have never been an exciting team. No one wants to get exciting. They will more than
and they've got worse by getting rid of Cook. They
have got worse, but Mattison is not a massive drop off. That's what I'm saying.
I think he is.
But Mattison is available, which for me is a difference to Dalvin Cook.
Yeah,
Cook missed one game last year.
Hall of Fame quarterback.
I hate the fact that Kirk Cousins needs to get some love, but man, what more do you want from the guy? He has played really well.
If you'd have offered any team's fans,
it's his last year as well. Yeah. It's his last year in the Vikings.
He is a contract year player.
I'm not sure they're going to re-sign him, but he'll go somewhere else. Once Jimmy G doesn't work out at the Raiders, that's the sort of place that would take him on.
But so I have Vikings, Lions, Packers, Bears, and a whole load of mediocrity.
Take him to the Niners if get rid of Lance.
You've already got 3 quarterbacks.
Yeah, but they'll all be injured by the end of the season. So everybody else thinks the Packers is going to be okay.
I think the Packers are going to be better than the Bears.
Oh God, I think they may. I think they may push the Lions for a second.
Packers bottom.
Packers bottom.
Wrong.
And I think you're overestimating the Bears there.
I think you're overestimating Jordan Love. He's been there for a long time, and they haven't want to go near him with a barge pole.
It's true.
So that means he is not going to be very good.
In the time he's been there, the guy in front of him has won MVP twice.
No, that's true. But you remember when Rodgers was sitting behind Favre? They weren't bothered about keeping Favre. They basically went, off you go.
After 4 seasons.
Yeah, but they basically said, off you go. He had a contract, so it was difficult to get rid of him until he decided he was not that bothered to play with them, and they pushed him out the door. But they already had Aaron Rodgers, and they already knew what he could do. They have no idea what they're getting out of Jordan Love. They haven't bigged him up at all because they don't know what's coming.
This is the first true transition season for the Packers since I've watched football.
Yeah, same as the Patriots just went through.
It might be a
same as
proper transition season, but they've still got Aaron Jones. Luke Musgrave could be a big difference maker. Though he's a scary looking tight end. Christian Watson looked fun, like a difference maker.
Dating that job.
But no, it's. But I didn't mention with the Lions. Sam Laporta, their tight end, could be exciting. Jahmyr Gibbs could be a great running back. But I just think to get rid of Swift and Williams for a bag of beans,
Swift
and
Williams,
David Montgomery
is really bad.
Yeah.
Did you see Jared Goff finished as the 10th best quarterback in terms of touchdowns scored, passes completed, and yardage last season?
Yeah, well, they were just in all these ridiculous
I know,
games.
but
Goff's absolutely fine. He's another
Goff's
just
fine.
run-of-the-mill, middle-of-the-road, quarterbacks.
This is a guy who took a team to a Super Bowl. He's a good quarterback.
Would you rather have Jared Goff or Kirk Cousins?
But it depends on the team, though, doesn't it?
Kirk Cousins. He doesn't make as many mistakes. Throws a better ball.
Gets paid a lot more money.
Well, yeah, he does, yeah.
He's
better.
Not
Not really.
dramatically.
Is it not? I thought
Goff's on quite a bit.
Goff's on his Rams contract, isn't he?
Oh, of course.
So, but I for a coin.
That's what I mean. It's
Yeah.
like quarterback purgatory. Like
Yeah.
they're not quite good enough to win it, but
Yeah.
really. Gary, over to you.
Okay, let's get through this nice and quick. So,
That's what Kirsty says, isn't it?
NFC West.
Is it in yet?
On your £15,000 bet.
So, in fourth and inches. So, in fourth, in the NFC West is quite clearly going to be the Cardinals.
Completely agree.
Because they are terrible. So Kyler Murray is out until at least October, they are saying. So obviously we've got a new GM and new head coach, neither of who signed up to this very expensive quarterback. So
Who is playing at quarterback?
Colt McCoy.
They haven't announced, but it's
Yeah,
it's a
so-
choice between Colt McCoy.
Caleb Williams or Drake May.
I've got
They next year's ones that they could take from the draft.
that's
Caleb Williams is like the next Andrew Luck.
Yeah, basically, if he's terrible this year, they can just go and take a new quarterback guy.
I mean, I feel these will be picking first overall.
So
I went early with the Colts earlier. I think the Cardinals might actually be the worst team.
I've got the Panthers to pick first. They're pretty bad. But there we go. We'll come on to that. So obviously it couldn't have gone much worse for the Cardinals. So who is it?
It's a choice of David Blau, Jeff Driscoll, Colt McCoy, or Clayton Tune.
Wow.
It could be all of them.
Get Tune out
but,
of him, wouldn't
but
you?
Yeah.
it'll be Colt McCoy.
I think it'll be Clayton Tune.
Their
guy.
So yeah, Kyler Murray obviously ACL. JJ Watt's retired. DeAndre Hopkins got released for nothing. But they did do well in the draft. So they got a lot of capital for their third pick. So that was about it. And they did get BJ Ojolari, who I thought was a good player in the draft, and Paris Johnson. So, but not much to really get excited about in Arizona.
They got John Gaines, who sounds like a murderer.
I think the Cardinals will be lucky if they win 4 games this season.
Honestly, I think they're just...
I don't think Murray will play.
Butter Baker must be sat in the locker going, "Who the fuck are you?"
Like if they've not,
Just laughing on his pile of money he sat on.
like they conceivably could start 1-6 this season.
This-
Why
this
would you
team-
bring back Kyler Murray then?
This team could finish 0-17, and I wouldn't bat an eyelid.
No.
Look, I think, a lot of people, 2 years ago, thought they were really going to kick on. That year they got to the... Year after they got to the playoffs and lost, and then it's fallen apart, isn't it?
There was 7 games where Kyler Murray could have been looked MVP quality.
Yeah, sadly he hasn't only played those 7 games.
And then third in the NFC West, I have the Rams. So obviously,
Sorry, just in that.
John, wasn't that fucking funny?
I've just seen the Cardinals' first 6-7 games, and they will be at least one.
Would you like to just preview them? Because I did.
So starts off Commanders,
Oh yeah,
not bad.
good win.
Giants,
Loss.
Cowboys, 49ers, Bengals. Then it's the Rams and Seahawks.
Yeah,
But there's a lot of losable games there.
They could be 0-7 comfortably.
I think the thing is with the NFC West teams, and it's a bit like what you're seeing in the, in the AFC East now. That the schedule always looks hard because the 6 games you've got in the division are hard. So the Rams, I think obviously Sean McVay stayed, so that was massive for them. So obviously there was lots of talk that he might go. Doesn't feel like they're in full rebuild, but not far away from it. So, and I think they're going to need to get more out of their key players this year. So obviously they've lost Jalen Ramsey, Bobby Wagner, Leonard Floyd. So they've
They've lost these future Hall of Famers.
but they still have a solid core of their roster is still very good. They've still got Stafford, who doesn't seem very happy, but is still Matt Stafford if you can keep him fit. Aaron Donald cannot be as bad as he was last year. That can't happen again.
I think it could be. I think he could. Because it's Aaron Donald and 10 random people on the defence.
Yeah, and I get that. A lot of pressure on him. But I still think we'll see an upturn in how he plays.
Yeah.
I think there's probably some of that.
Do you not think the biggest deal is getting Cooper Kupp back?
Well, I was just about to say,
Sorry.
Cooper Kupp is also back, and obviously how they get him reintegrated into the offense will be key. So I think, like I say, I think they'll be better than last year, but not good enough to challenge the top two in this division. So, in second in this division, I have the 49ers. And that is because of the ongoing mess at quarterback. Now, obviously, Shanahan is a brilliant coach and he has brilliant schemes, and people say that the quarterback position doesn't matter as much at the 49ers. And I do believe that is the case as much, but there's a reason why teams pay quarterbacks $60 million a year. It's because it is the most important position in football. So if you put Jalen Hurts into the 49ers team, they'll probably win the Super Bowl.
Okay.
So we do not have an elite quarterback yet. Brock Purdy, we saw him for 6 games do very well, but in probably a slimmed down playbook. So that's still a bit of an issue. And then after that, we've got Trey Lance, who is obviously going to be one of the biggest busts in trade history. The amount of money and draft capital that was paid to go up to get him. And then Sam Darnold, who may be brilliant or probably not. So I think it puts a lot on scheming. It puts a lot on the defense. The defense, we've obviously lost Jimmy Ward, but then we obviously have gone out and added Javon Hargrave from the Eagles, which makes the pass rush ridiculously scary. But as much as defense wins championships, and we have got amazing pieces, Debo, Christian McCaffrey, all that kind of stuff, I just think having that leader, that settled leader at quarterback is a worry for me. So that's the reason why I've put him in second.
Is Brock Purdy able to play week 1?
Yeah, I think so. He played this week in pre-season.
Brock Purdy is perfectly fine to go, and I think that you might be wrong. I think he's going to be stellar. I think he looked so much better than anyone else you've played under centre. He looked better than Jimmy G.
Look, I'm not known for my positive attitude
About
towards
49.
the 49ers.
I'm not remotely surprised you have him in the second. I think Brock Purdy could be one of the best quarterbacks in the league this season.
The odds, if you check the betting odds, they have the 49ers quite comfortably coming first, Seahawks quite comfortably second, and then, a toss-up between the last two to see who comes third or fourth. Yeah, full-on biscuit game. But the Seahawks, I think the Seahawks have done really well. I think, if Geno Smith keeps playing in a really settled way, the way Pete Carroll wants him to play, they've added Jackson Smith and Jigba, so their wide receiver core is very good. And I thought I read that very well. And Jigba.
You did.
So, and look, they don't go crazy, do they, Seahawks? But they play a simple game. They do it well. They've got good wide receivers. Geno Smith doesn't get asked to do too much. So, I think it was closer than most people thought it would be last year. And the Seahawks have got better. So, I think, like I say, if you took out that quarterback kind of question mark at the Niners, most people would have the Niners winning the division. But I had them in second for that reason.
I have the Niners top, Seahawks second, Rams third, and then the Cardinals last by a country mile in this division.
I have the top 2 being the 49ers and the Seahawks. I think you both make the playoffs.
Yep.
I think the Rams, it's too early. I think they're going to suck. But I don't think anybody in football will suck as bad as the Cardinals. I think they're the worst team in football.
I agree with you. I have the Niners first, but that wideout room in Seattle is
it's delicious.
lightning.
Yep.
It's delicious.
Yeah. Jim actually is predicting the end of Tyler Lockett. He's this year.
Yeah, he's getting older.
DK Metcalf gets annoyed about a lack of receptions. Tyler Lockett is a shadow of his former self.
Wow.
But the defense shows signs of becoming a force. And I'm like, I think you're projecting here, mate. I think that wideout room will be fine.
Yep.
DK Metcalf has been the second.
The Seahawks defense is good. It is good.
They draft really well.
They draft really well.
Pete Carroll knows what he's doing. They will get in the playoffs, I believe.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You see,
And then they'll lose in the first game.
Probably.
oh yeah.
That's what they do.
Yeah, but I think they'll wild card.
So that leaves me then, the NFC East.
Be nice.
I'm not going to be nice.
Okay.
I've got the Eagles top. I think the signing of DeAndre Swift is huge. I think that should take some of the running pressure off Jalen Hurts. I think DeAndre Swift was underrated by the Lions.
So good.
And I think the Eagles, who are very good with their running backs, will use him to the best of his ability. Jalen Hurts threw the most deep touchdown passes last season, 12. So don't tell me he can't throw. And they're on course.
Jim's not here. We all like
I know.
him.
I think they're on course for setting themselves up for another shot at the Super Bowl, if I'm honest. I think it's a deep playoff run for them. My concern with them, though, that limits them, they lost the most starts from anyone in any team. So they lost 115 starts worth of players leaving the team. As you say, Hargreave, etc. So that's a lot of people you've got to integrate and upgrade. But I think they're in a really good place to do that. And they have the one thing Gary thinks the Niners don't have, which is a settled, excellent young quarterback who leads the team, and they all play for him. And I cannot see past the Eagles in this division. I'm not even sure it's close. I have the Cowboys second, but only by a game or two above the Giants. Keeping Dan Quinn as the defensive coordinator, for me, was the best thing they did. I'm not sure how long they'll hold on to him if they have another really good defensive season.
I don't think it matters. I think he goes up.
Yeah, well, he might go. I don't know, because I think they want an offensive coach. But Micah Parsons is going to be brilliant this year. Van Der Esch is going to be brilliant this year. And it's because of Dan Quinn. He's so good. My concern is Dak. Is Dak all that, really? Is he?
Yeah.
They went 4-1 with Cooper Rush last year. Don't forget that. Like, Cooper Rush didn't look any different to Dak Prescott, and they weren't particularly playing a different playbook.
I don't think he fit all year, really.
I think Dak had a bad year. I worry.
League leading 15 interceptions.
I worry for Justin Herbert this year because you look back on a lot of the Cowboys stuff. Do you remember what Kellen Moore's last play he called?
Yeah.
With Zeke under center.
Yes.
You're like, he's like, maybe, yeah, like that is the move of a man who knows he's being fired. Like, you look at it and you think, actually, a lot of that defense is, if you just take that half of the thing, that's a Super Bowl winning defense. Yes. It's the best in the league. The offense is so, Tony Pollard is going to be strapped.
Okay,
It's
so
one of. It's
so
very
It's not
good.
as good as the
I worry for Dak.
here's the thing with Tony Pollard. I think Tony Pollard benefits from not having Zeke there. I think it stops the rumour mill and the waters being muddied. I don't have a problem with that. I have a problem with Mike McCarthy having anything to do with offensive plays.
But he might well have been in his garage all summer.
Yeah, he may well have been. But for me, it's down to whether you get good Dak or bad Dak. Last season was predominantly bad Dak, and if that is what you get, they cannot win this division.
Dak, bad Dak.
But he fluctuates from being a top 10 just inside the top 10 quarterbacks to all the way into maybe 25 over the course of a season. And that's difficult to win consistently with. So the fact that Cooper Rush looked absolutely amazing almost all of the time last season made me think Dak ain't all that. Like, Dak is Kirk Cousins, maybe.
Cooper Rush won because
different, but
it was just different, and he was
injured.
behind
I think he was injured. I think his back was not great. Knee wasn't great.
Do you know what's exciting? I know pre-season is never a measurement, and talking in measurements, Deuce Vaughn
Deuce Vaughan looks really good.
He
And
looked
again,
like Barry Sanders in pre-season.
but that all you've done is you've moved Pollard up without controversy, and you've got Deuce Vaughan now to play the Pollard role, to take the pressure off Pollard. And I really like it. I don't have a problem with that. That's why Dak is the issue for me on offense. Without Kellen Moore calling plays, and without knowing whether he is fit and whether he's really, as good as we thought, that's the thing that could hold them back. The Giants, though, I've got them a game or two back from the Cowboys, if that. Tell me, Giants fans at this table, what you've done well since the end of last season.
Or in a established tight end.
Okay, so Darren Waller is the only thing I've got in my plus column. The only thing I've got in my plus column. I don't know what else to do. And the thing in my minus column is all the other wide receivers.
Do you know who the Dallas OC is?
No, go on.
Marty Schottenheimer's son.
Yeah.
Okay, great.
Ugh.
Tell me what else the Giants have done well, because I was struggling. I think that re-signing Daniel Jones feels like a reach. Re-signing Saquon feels like a reach.
I don't think
Saquon's not a reach.
Is he definitely going to be fit? No. Is he worth the money?
Yeah, but you
Probably
can say
not.
that about every
I know.
footballer.
But he has a history. Is Saquon worth the money?
So,
no.
Last season showed he was.
It's funny watching Griff just like, which one's he going to bite on?
You re-signed Dexter Lawrence,
yes.
who was the outstanding
He was brilliant.
Most
defensive
pressures in
lineman.
the league.
Yep. Dexter Lawrence was brilliant. Back to Saquon, though. Saquon is a top 3 running back in the league. And last season, he was amazing. I'm delighted. I love watching Saquon. Is he worth the money?
Yes.
No. Because chance of him making it... It's like Tua. Is he worth the money? No. Because history says you're going to be 7 games into this season with no running back. Do you remember the days of Orleans Darkwa? Do you remember when you had that?
Yeah.
That could be you all over again this season.
The thing I like that we've done...
Or he could be a 1,100-yard runner.
Yeah, maybe. But I don't think so.
I like Jalen Hyatt.
I like Jalen Hyatt as well.
That looks like a really good piece of the puzzle. Because Sterling Shepard is
Done. Well, he's not old. He's just
Have you
another
not got any
injury
new
candidate.
wide receivers yet?
Jalen Hyatt, who I've just
Jalen
mentioned.
Hyatt is it.
That's it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's not good. The wide receiver room is very poor.
I argued with you a lot about the wide receiver call there last year. John looked at me with those angry eyes.
Darius Slayton is
Darius Slayton.
league quality.
Yeah, okay, good.
Rugby league quality.
The best thing you've done with your wide receiver room is get rid of Kenny Golladay.
Yeah.
Financially, yeah.
No, but just in general, I think he was just weighing the whole room down. So that means by process of elimination, I have the Commanders last. I don't think they'll be as far off it as they have been in the past. The new head office, for me, makes all the difference. It's a positive thinking, positive looking team. It's probably 2 or 3 years too early. I said to John before, I'm not sure Riverboat Ron is going to be there long term.
He's got this year.
I like what he does.
I like what he does. But what he is at the moment for them is a transitional, head coach until they can
if
next
he
summer
wins,
they'll bring in
if he
someone
wins
sexy.
7 or 8 games this season, I think he keeps his job.
I don't.
I do, because I think they want someone who the league looks at and the fans look at as a very positive influence.
I think they'll want sexy, and that's not one.
I don't think there's anything sexy about Washington to take more than changing the coach.
Obviously, their biggest disadvantage is they're starting Sam Howell now.
Yeah.
Fine, like he played 1 game last season. He didn't look anything like...
But we can't judge him at this point. You know, the Niners were playing Mr. Irrelevant.
No,
and he
I
turned
agree.
out to be stunning.
I agree, but it's not like they've got loads of other pieces. It's not like you're saying he's playing with some really good...
You know, there's a petition to
pieces.
get the Redskins' name back.
Yes, there
it's
is.
got over 100,000 signatures already.
It could... Like, they've already said they probably will change the name again.
Yeah.
Well, I've had 4 names in
Red
7
Hogs.
years. Red Pandas.
Pandas would be good.
Red Pandas. I would not be remotely surprised if Sam Howell is relegated and then it's Jacoby Brissett.
Jake Biscuits.
Jake Brisket, yeah, that's fine. But I can't see the Commanders climbing off the bottom of this division. I don't think they'll be near the number 1 pick, but I just don't think they'll be very good.
Yeah, no, they're just, it's another middling season for them.
How close do you think the Giants are to winning this division?
Not very.
I don't have them in the playoffs this season.
I have them in the playoffs as the last wild card.
The NFC is poor.
It is poor.
That's
is
the
poor.
thing.
How we got in last season.
I have
The Rams could get in instead of the Giants if the Cardinals are basically 2 easy wins.
Eagles, Cowboys, Giants, Washington. I have all but Washington going through. Just because, as well, the schedule isn't tough.
No.
Compared to other seasons. So it's we play a lot of the NFC West and stuff like that. Not NFC South, So it's. But yeah, we still need to improve Daniel Jones.
There's no improving Daniel Jones.
No, improve on Daniel Jones.
I see. Improve on Daniel
and the wide out. We can't win. And like Wandale Robinson, he's back.
Who's sorry?
Wandale Robinson.
He looked decent.
He did look good.
But then he always injured. It's what the Giants receivers do. You look good for a game, and then you break your leg.
So with those picks of the divisions in mind, I will now go around the table and invite each person to tell me the 2 teams they think are playing in the Super Bowl this year. You can pick a winner if you like, but really I just want your 2 teams. Right?
I'll start.
Yeah, Paul.
Chiefs v Eagles. Rematch.
Bengals, 49ers. And I'm going to say...
That'd be a fucking great Super Bowl.
49ers to win it.
Fucking twat. I've also gone with a Chiefs-Eagles rematch.
And I have gone Bengals-Niners, same as John.
Whoa!
I've gone with the Bengals to win it.
I've got the Chiefs to win it again.
I have the Chiefs to win it again.
Jim has gone Chiefs-Falcons with the Chiefs to win.
Falcons?
I got the 49ers.
Do you know what?
I believed it for a second, and that's what made it hurt
Do you know
more.
what? I had written down Chiefs versus 49ers, but I couldn't bring myself to write it. So, because I nearly started.
Yeah, he's gone. Yeah, Chiefs 49ers. He's gone with a Chiefs win.
Of course he has.
Yeah, I've gone Chiefs win.
Not as much contention as I thought.
Are we doing some more predictions?
I literally, I was going through it, and I was like, I've got Bengals Chiefs, and because the Chiefs won last year, I'm going with the Bengals to win it this year.
Does anyone else get to the
49ers,
point
Eagles.
where they think the Eagles and the Chiefs are clearly the best 2 teams, but the chances of them both being in the Super Bowl again are limited?
Yeah,
Because I did.
that's what I did.
I think if Purdy is as good as he was last year, I think the Niners could be as good as the Eagles.
So do I.
As a balanced team, so...
Any team's just an injury away from it.
Of course.
Crap in the bed.
Yeah.
Okay, so we'll go around now and wade through some of the other end of season predictions. I'll start with we'll sort of do it in reverse order.
So are you noting this down, John, who we're picking?
I'll
He'll re-listen.
Luckily, we're recording it, so I can play it back.
Do you want Perry's, Perry's Super Bowl winners
Go on then.
were the Bills.
Oh, he's a fucking idiot, isn't he?
Bills-Eagles Super Bowl.
It could well
Could
be.
happen.
At least he hasn't picked 2 AFC teams because I wouldn't put that past him. I'd like your coach of the year, please. I've gone
Andy Reid.
I've gone for Shanahan.
Shanahan.
I'm going to go for Shanahan.
Okay. Comeback player of the year. Now, I will tell you in advance that the betting says it's Damar Hamlin.
Yes.
Now, that's
what Perry's gone for.
But I
favourite
think
based on...
if Damar Hamlin takes a snap,
Well, it's the Alex Smith.
it's the thing. It's Damar Hamlin.
Yeah.
But if I'm trying to think of players
like
other than
Cooper
Damar
Kupp.
Hamlin.
I've got Cooper Kupp.
The betting has Tua or Russell Wilson as the next highest odds.
I might go Chase Young. Spent 2 years basically out.
I'm going to have some fun and go for Russell Wilson.
That would be fun.
But it is Damar Hamlin.
Totally.
will be.
All day.
I would like the team you feel are picking first overall. Are we all going Cardinals?
We've all said it.
Panthers.
Panthers.
Cardinals.
I've gone Panthers.
Yeah, I went Colts earlier, but now I'm thinking Cardinals, so I will stay with Cardinals.
I've said Cardinals since I saw the footage of the head coach meeting. Was it Rondale Moore?
Chase had the Browns.
It was so embarrassing.
Yeah, Browns would shock me if they were that bad.
Yeah, I don't think it'd be that bad.
Okay, rookies then. Offensive rookie of the year. I've gone for Bijan Robinson.
I am also going for Mr. Robinson.
Bijan Robinson. And so is Perry.
Yeah.
Dalton Kincaid.
Ooh.
You have to be different, don't
What's
you?
Jim gone for? Anything?
He'll have gone for a lineman.
Bijan
Bijan
Robinson.
Robinson. Defensive rookie of the year.
Jalen Carter.
Jalen Carter.
Will Anderson Jr.
And you or Jim, whichever one you're not announcing.
Jim has gone with Jalen Carter.
I've gone for Christian Gonzalez because cornerbacks at the Patriots.
If you're going to have a thing place quarterbacks under Bill Belichick, you're like, that should be pretty decent.
He's going to be great at the Chargers the season
Probably.
after.
Defensive player of the year.
TJ Watt.
TJ Watt.
Nick Bosa.
I've gone for Myles Garrett.
Jim's gone for Micah Parsons, which is probably the sensible pick.
Probably is a sensible pick. Offensive player of the year.
I've gone Mahomes.
Justin Jefferson.
Jamar Chase.
Justin Jefferson. Jim has gone for Christian McCaffrey because he's a dirty homer.
He's a what? Sorry?
He's a filthy bitch.
And that leaves us with MVP.
He's a horrible slag. MVP, Trevor Lawrence.
Are you high?
I've gone for Burrow.
Patrick Mahomes, all day, every day.
Chase has gone for Josh Allen.
I think
he's actually gone for the linebacker from the Jags, hasn't he?
Yeah. I think Patrick Mahomes is the best player in football. Sometimes, though, he isn't as good as Patrick Mahomes the year before. And I think because of that, he'll be judged poor. Like, the only reason Aaron Rodgers won his last 2 MVPs was because Mahomes was 90% of Mahomes. I think if he's that again, I'm going to go. I've just picked Trevor Lawrence because I think it'll be brilliant.
I think we are missing one person here because if Rodgers gets them plus 10 wins, if they 10 wins plus, he'd probably get MVP.
But is that because nobody here really believes he's going to do that?
Yeah.
Because it's the Jets. It's not because it's Aaron Rodgers, it's because it's the Jets.
That's such an unpredictable division.
That division will be quite tough. And
Jim's going to Mahomes.
It won't look like it. I think Mahomes.
I mean, you've got a quarterback who craps 5,000 yards out, and it's not remarkable anymore. It should be remarkable.
No one called Lamar Jackson, who's very well paid.
I think the Ravens are going to be good because they've got Harbaugh. I don't think they're going to be good because they've got Lamar Jackson.
Is the MVP still Deshaun Watson's agent?
Maybe.
Possibly.
His lawyer.
Does anyone have anything else they'd like to add before I bring tonight's proceedings to an end and go and look for a pizza that wasn't brought earlier?
Did anyone see Tom Brady's face when he was in Birmingham?
Yeah, he's had a lot of plastic put in there.
That almost had scaffolding on it.
Looks like a Ken doll. And I'm just bitter because they all then went and won. And I was sat in a pub just outside Birmingham City's football ground at the time. But yeah, fuck him.
Tom Brady's still haunting you from beyond the grave, effectively.
I mean,
and Alex Collins.
Yeah, speaking of which, Alex Collins, former Seahawk running back, passed away age 28.
Motorbike accident, wasn't it?
It was.
Yep.
It was.
No age, but yeah, good player when he was in.
Thanks for bringing this to close on a low there, John. Excellent stuff. Anybody got something cheery they want to add? No.
The Patriots game got cancelled yesterday because a player was lying on the pitch.
Injured, 20 minutes, so they cancelled.
I saw a good fight at the Broncos-Niners game.
There was.
Somebody got a right pasted. It's always my favourite bit of pre-season.
It does tend to
the
kick
fan
off.
fights.
Kelsey's been going around just smacking everyone on the
including people in his own team.
Chiefs' defence.
Yeah.
He's been a naughty boy this off-season.
A naughty boy, you say? Okay, I'm bringing proceedings to a very swift end because everyone needs bed and I need pizza. So that is it from the Snap UK podcast. We will be back sometime after the games have started because we are all on holiday until
you're
that
not.
first
I am
week.
not.
Well, we're all away for the most part. You could do it by yourself. I'd listen. I'd listen to John Farrow.
I will do. I will do on my own.
The Farrowcast.
The Farrowcast, yeah.
Why
just
not?
be.
He's well practiced.
Speak
his own.
A 2-hour monologue about why I think that Jim's a scumbag.
On that note, thank you and good night.